Ratchet and Clank, a household name that has captured the hearts of PlayStation gamers for years to come. When I was a child, I had started my adventure by playing Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. It was like a life-changing feeling to have a franchise that I cared about so much and that I played for years and years to come. But as many as I played, I never got to experience the first game in the franchise, as I didn't own it, nor did at the time did I find a way to get it. So, when it came to the PS3, I was finally able to try the first game in the franchise and see how my beloved game came to be from its very rooted beginnings. Honestly, it was a whirlwind experience, as I got to see characters that I would grow to like at their beginning and their infant stages, and see what brought forth such great moments of joy and crude humor to the surface. Now, I can't say everything about this first adventure was the best, but it has opened my eyes to something grander than I could have ever thought of. So, with that in mind, I am Acescorcher, and today, here is my thoughts on my adventure with the first Ratchet and Clank. So, my adventure begins with Ratchet repairing the ship he's been working on, waiting just for his moment to finally leave his plan and go off on his own adventure. But he seems to be missing something that he hasn't quite figured out yet. But little does he know, his chance will come. Meanwhile, on a nearby factory not too far away, we have our robotic pal Clank being created from Chairman Dreck's facility. But he's not like the other robots, in any regard for that matter. But after being created, he happens to stumble upon a secret video telling us what Chairman Dreck's evil plans are for the galaxy. The infobot shows us that Chairman Dreck plans to use a nearby planet, Novalis, to help furnish his new planet for his species, the Blard. And what happens to the residents? Well, they're just basically being evicted and maybe killed. After arriving on planet and saving some of the civilians, including the mayor, we get another infobot showing us the location of Captain Quark in Kerwan City, where he's running his training system to, essentially train new heroes. Or maybe at least sidekicks, quote unquote. So, we blast off into the once again, but making a quick stop to go save Skid McMarks and his producer/manager. Very important for the hoverboarding circuit of the universe. We go check out Captain Quark on Kerwan to get some help and tell him about Chairman Dreck's evil plans.
This isn't the real Captain Quark, you numbskull. It's a robot.
Oh.
Turns out Captain Quark isn't actually on the planet, but our heroes at least get the hookshot and the helipack upgrade for Clank, allowing for easier traversal in certain sections going forward. So, with that in mind, and a little bit of exploring on hand, we get another info. Chairman Dreck's forces are on another planet recovering even more resources from another planet to then funnel into his own project to rebuild the Bardian planet, regardless of the risks. So, with that in mind, our heroes dash off to this next planet to either save the residents or at least find more information on where Chairman Dreck's plans are moving next. After scaring off his general, our heroes have collected yet another info mod revealing secrets of Chairman Dreck's master plan going forward. And he reveals one of his secret locations out in space, which could give off some very important information of his plans, or at the very least, where on Earth he is in the galaxy. So, with Quark still not around, our heroes see this as the best bet to get some information. After checking out the Lardian station and dealing with some annoying enemies along the way, our heroes gain the grind boost after another aggravating paywall getting in the way, as well as Clank doing some exploration on his own to finds hidden secrets and treasures to gain. And, a little destruction of property, but hey, we get a break from the action. Get a special news report of Captain Quark hosting the championship hoverboard race in Blackwater City, which happens to also be overrun with the Tyrannoid menace. So, with that, our heroes will rush off to Blackwater City to catch up with Captain Quark, hopefully, and give him the news. Upon arriving, our heroes meet Captain Quark at last, and seems kind of sketchy, just from the looks of it, but he plans to help them if they pass his test and meet him on the planet Umbris. After going through all the planet Umbris, it's revealed that Quark has betrayed them as he's been working for Chairman Drek the entire time. So the only reason he brought our heroes here is so he could eliminate them and keep them out of Drek's way for rebuilding the Blarg planet by, destroying other planets. So, after another hectic boss battle, our heroes survive and get another info bomb on another planet, overrun by more of Drek's forces, and so they scurry off on the way to go save the planet. Meanwhile, Quark is getting chewed out by his boss for failing to stop our heroes yet again. But once our heroes arrive on the planet and learn what's going on, Ratchet is understandably uncaring about the situation as he wants to go after Quark and get his revenge for almost killing them, while Clank wants to stop Chairman Drek at any cost. This puts a huge conflict between the both, but begrudgingly our heroes are able to take out the threat to the planet and get information on what happened to the Blargian planet and how unpopulated it has become. But before they can go investigating, our team has to head over to Planet Gaspar, pick up a pilot's helmet, which will become very useful later on, piloting better ships. So, with this acquired, they head off to Planet Roxxon. Now, unfortunately, the air here is too toxic to breathe, so it's up to Clank to do most of the exploring here with the Gadget Bots. Upon finishing the little quest, our heroes acquired the Magnet Boots will become useful for helping our military friend later on with its acquired, and an unnecessary trek over to the water resort known as Poketaru. Our heroes help the locals out and acquire not only the thruster pack, which will allow Clank to fly and traverse even more versatilely than before with the helipack, but our heroes are also able to stop more Chairman Drek's forces that are scouring the planet for resources once again, and acquire the O2 mask, which will allow them to breathe more easily on planet Orkson. After saving the planet, our heroes get another transmission about Chairman Drek's Planet Buster, which he'll be using to destroy planets in a blink of an eye over on Planet Hoven. With this location in mind, our heroes race off to the planet to destroy the device before it has any chance to blow up any more planets and doing more innocent people to their demise. With a hard-fought battle and lots of ice along the way, our heroes are able to successfully destroy the device, but they also find out about Drek's new base and his plans to attack yet another city and destroy it. But Ratchet doesn't seem to care, as he's only interested in hunting down Quark and doesn't really feel like going after Drek at this point. Meanwhile, Quark is given one last chance to take out the galactic duo for good, as there will be no chances left for him after this. Upon arriving to Drek's new base and doing a little walkaroo through, our heroes are finally able to put down Captain Quark for good as he's sent crashing into the planet's surface below. Which at this point Ratchet's pretty happy about. Unfortunately, we get to see the aftermath of the planet that was attacked by Drek's forces, and he finally realizes that this whole grudge he's had against Quark doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things, as this galaxy isn't going to be around much longer at this rate. So, putting the differences aside, our heroes head off to planet Atlantis to see if there's anything that they can find about Drek or help. Unfortunately, due to the lightning strikes the planet, Clank is not going to be much use here, so Ratchet is left to do the grunt work, as not only acquiring the Morph-Ray, he also finds out about Drek's facility for blood replication. So, after our heroes make a quick pit stop to go grab the Hydro Pack upgrade to make swimming at least more easier to accomplish, our heroes race off to to planet Quartu to go investigate the robot production factory, smash it to bits, enjoy a nice little swim here and there, and take down everything in their path. It's revealed that Chairman Drek has completed his new world and only has to remove planet Veldin from orbit to finally have it in its new spot. Ratchet, not willing to stand by and let his homeworld be destroyed, he is ready to go face Chairman Drek as they head off to his in-space fleet and smash it to bits as they race to stop Drek before he can leave down to the planet and use Planet Buster. Unfortunately for them, Chairman Drek is already gone as Planet Buster is already getting into orbit. With only a matter of moments to spare before Veldin is vaporized into nothingness, our heroes race down to the planet's surface to go face to face with Drek in one final showdown for the fate of the planet. It's also revealed that Chairman Drek doesn't even care about building a new world for the Blarg, as he's the one who polluted his old world in the first place. The only reason he's making a new one is just so he can scam people into buying homes on it, blow it up, and do the same thing over and over again. As he just in it for the money and nothing else. So our heroes stage off against one last climactic battle to save Veldin and a blasting Chairman Drek into his own new planet with no hopes of escape. So it's designed for a fitting end. They use his own Planet Buster to blast his new planet into bits, essentially killing him and also saving the rest of the galaxy. But unfortunately, the debris from this new planet ends up crashing into the Planet Buster, leaving our heroes in a very precarious, almost certain death type of situation. But with the quick thinking of Clank, our heroes are able to land back on the planet's surface safely. Seeing as their mission's done, Ratchet just kind of walks off into the distance, and Clank, with a broken arm no less, seeing as his job is kind of done and he has nowhere to go, he's just kind of left to wander on his own with no home of his own. But before he actually gets away, Ratchet calls back to him, wanting him to stay, as he may have to fix his arm. But this is the beginning of the wonderful friendship these two awesome heroes have in store. So our heroes walk off into the distance, friends to the end, and game is finished. But we get one last post-credit scene showing our washed-up hero Quark and his new business of selling the Hygenator, which has very, how should I put it, mixed results when it comes to the public. But I guess all's well that ends well.
Oh, mommy.
Turn it off! Turn it off!
Honestly speaking, I enjoyed the story from this game, as it allowed me to experience the characters I've grown to love in a new light, as I never got to see how their journey actually began. The budding friendship between Ratchet and Clank is so good to enjoy as the story progresses. Sure, things take a bit of a turn when Ratchet basically starts shitting on Clank for a good, I'd say, third of the game after they get betrayed by Quark.
He needs our help.
Yeah? Why don't you go help him? Into another trap. Well, go on. Go fight some evil.
Captain Quark anymore. There are innocent lives being lost.
Yeah? Well, I'm done with this stupid hero stuff. I got my own agenda now.
But I love his growth that he does after this, as once he's seen the devastation that Drek is actually capable of causing, he realizes he has to put his grudge behind him. Sure, he wants revenge against Quark, but the galaxy is in far greater danger than this petty squabble is. Now, it takes a long time to get to that growth, but it's a great bit of growth nonetheless. I also enjoy Quark's introduction into the story way more than Going Commandos. I actually get to see the person he was before. As, yes, he was a world or universe-wide known hero, but it was all just a facade. as he'd been working for the main villain from the start.
Ambush those two miscreants when they arrive.
Oh, yes. Who are they again?
Those two!
Oh, of course. There is just one problem. I'm,
Too washed up for ground combat? True. That is why I will be loaning you my starfighter. You can still fly, can't you? It's settled then. You will acquire the starfighter once you get to the moon. Screw this up, and the endorsement deal is off!
But that would ruin me!
And even then, he wasn't treated as a super serious threat, as in Chairman Drek's eyes, he was nothing more than a buffoon who couldn't even do the simplest tasks right. And speaking of, Chairman Drek is a great villain in this, as, sure, he has some comedic moments, but overall he's a serious and threatening presence throughout the game, as all he cares about is his goal, which to destroy more planets and just keep making new ones just to get more money out of people. As again, he doesn't care about the devastation he causes or the lives that get lost in the process of this. All that he cares about is his own being and his money and nothing else. I like the sense of this kind of villain, as a lot of times I see a lot of jokey or comical villains from time to time. So seeing that the franchise started out with such a serious tone at first was really refreshing. So let's get a bit into the gameplay. Gameplay-wise, the game works on this platforming yet action-related type of adventure. You're in third person, and mostly for the part play as Ratchet. He has his fair share of weapons and tools that he can use to fight, as well as having his own wrench as a capable combo of attacks with it along the way. But weapons are your go-to. You have a nice little roster of weapons to use at your disposal, as they can do a variety of things, and I like that in this game, they each have their viability. Going forward, there's a lot of weapons in the franchise that kind of don't have as much use later in the game because they're weak. So having weapons that can actually hold the test of time as the adventure goes on really comes in handy here. Not only that, but you also have missions to play as with Clank. Clank may not be as versatile in combat or weapon-wise as Ratchet, but his levels are more specifically for small bits of platforming and puzzle solving with the gadget bots, as they open doors or unlock secrets for you hidden around the world. As you explore planet to planet, each planet has several paths for you to take, as you can find plenty of treasures or story-related progression hidden behind it. So it's always good to go back to planets after you finish them the first time with new tools, because you may find some things that you didn't see were there before. Now, while this game doesn't have as many side mini games as the future games does, it does have hoverboard racing. Hoverboard racing's pretty simple in terms of races and stuff compared to the future games, but it does take a little bit of work to master, as if you want to understand boost, you're going to have to pull off tricks better to get more energy instead of just falling flat on your face and, getting last place, which we're only here for gold. Now, with that out the way, there's one thing I do have to mention for you. As with all the games, they have their good and their bad moments. Ratchet and Clank 1's major problem for me is it doesn't have the strafe run like the sequels do, which is a huge hindrance, especially when lock-on is not great with weapons as it is. Trying to fight off a horde of enemies gets really hard because you're going to have to maneuver your way to enemies and find a real awkward way just to kill them, which when it's a one-on-one type thing, it's not a problem, but when it's an army, it's the worst. So, sure, they have a sort of way to do lock call it strafe run with the jetpack, but it's more you have to hover from side to side in like one specific space instead of just being able to move freely as with its evolved form later on, and that is not fun. Another problem that I can't get past is the fact that there's so many paywalls in the game just for story progression or gadgets that it's insane. Like almost every cutscene you want to unlock that has to do with the story, you have a paywall, which means you can't really be spending your bolts buying new weapons if you're going to have to save money just to get past the paywall or get a gadget you need to progress, which is insane. Why am I spending all of these bolts on all this crap? Yes, I get it. Some of the people in the game are meant to be these money grubbing type things. It's kind of part of the joke. But at the same time, I just want money. Hell, I spent almost a good day doing this for this recording alone, and that was getting boring very fast. And once you lose my interest in bolt hunting, things are going to go off the walls very quickly. But that's not even the worst part. Once you get to New Game Plus, which is basically the game again on a harder difficulty, you can use gold bolts, which are one of the game's collectibles, to buy the gold versions of weapons, which would be cool if it wasn't for the fact that you have to spend bolts to also buy them. So they've thrown yet another aggravating bolt grind at your feet. Now, sure, it's easier to get bolts on New Game Plus, but at the same time, it's like, really? Why have you done this to me? Again? But moving back on to something good, the music. The music some of these games level have is fantastic. And it really just brings up the atmosphere in the game. Like, going to places like Poketaru, Drex Fleet, Planet Umbris, it's such a nice feeling because the music from those levels are so good, it really gets you immersed in the feeling. Like, I actually feel like I'm at a lovely resort with Poketaru, and I like that kind of immersion the music gives for you. Like, games for me back then didn't have that kind of feel, so something like this is lovely to see. And I would love to see more stuff like this going forward. Well, more specifically from games of this era, but you get the point I'm making. Overall, I have to say Ratchet and Clank 1 is a phenomenal game.
Thank you, sir. We'll be sure to tell everyone about your services.
Listen, you little twerp. If you tell anyone what you saw or what we talked about...
Yes, it has its fair share of issues, but overall speaking, this game is something people must play. If you played the 2016 Ratchet and Clank 1 remake, I would suggest that you play this game too. It may not look as glossy or as new, but at the very least, you get the full experience of what this story started off as first. You'll understand why people like this game so much and how important it is to the franchise. And I can't recommend it enough. But that is going to have to be the end of our space adventure. I hope you all enjoyed. And if you thought about something from this game that made you teary-eyed and reminiscent, please leave in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And check out some of the other stuff we're working on. I will be back with Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal at some point down the road. But until then, I've been Acescorcher. You guys take care. And have a great day. Bye.
Oh, mommy.
Turn it off! Turn it off!